Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. Today I'm going to be getting into my September wrap up, and I had a really not typical reading month in September. I also read some things that I really enjoyed, so I'm super excited to share them all with you. You can probably hear my little guest jingling around. Boba, come here, honey. Boba, are you ready to wrap up these books with the girlies? Oh, my sweet love. Like this video right off the bat for Miss Boba. She looks adorable in her pumpkin spice anthropology sweater. She is giving. But let's go ahead and dive right into the books that I did read in September. I was in a massive slump, but I still managed to finish 6 books. I soft DNF'd probably another 6 books. And before we get into all the books that I did complete, I do want to talk about one book that I hard DNF'd. I soft DNF books all the time, which is where like I'm reading a book, I get about 50 pages in, I'm not feeling it, and I put it to the side for a later date. I do that a lot because I am such a mood reader, but rarely do I ever DNF a book that I feel like it's a hard DNF. Like I feel like I am not completing it, and I probably won't come back around to complete it. But I did have one hard DNF this month, and if you watched my Paperbacks from Hell reading vlog, then you will know about it. That was Let's Go Play at the Adams by Mendel W. Johnson. This is a really bleak, horrifying, vintage horror book that came out in the 70s. It's about a babysitter who is taking care of these kids while the parents are out of town, and they decide they're just not going to listen to her. They are just going to completely revolt, tie her up, and do whatever the hell they want to do. And it's kind of like the reality show from the early 2000s, Kid Nation. It's like, what will kids do left to their own devices, and how far will they go to strip another person who's really not that much older than them of her humanity completely. It is so horrifying, and I think the point of the book, the messaging, was delivered within the first 100 pages. I got past that 100-page mark. I got about halfway through the book, and once I realized that it was just going to be the same thing over and over, I really did not feel like I needed to put myself through the torment of this book. It is extremely dark and triggering, and I just needed to respect my mental health at that point, so I did DNF it, and I'm not sure that I will ever return to this one. I cannot on good conscience recommend it because I did not finish it, but if this sounds interesting to you, I will say proceed with caution. So that was my one hard DNF, but for the rest of my 6 books that I did complete during the month of September, let's go over my stats. Across the 6 books that I read, that was a total of 2,267 pages, which is like less than half of what I normally read in a month. So you know, I was really feeling slumpy in September. Also, look at my mood breakdown. This is not nearly as beautiful and colorful as it usually is. I was reading like really dark, really sad books because I was just not in the most wonderful mental state I've ever been in my life. 4 of the books that I read were medium paced, 2 that I read were fast paced, 5 of them were between 300 and 500 pages, and I did read one that was under 300 pages. I completed 1 nonfiction book, although I will say I started probably about 6 of them, and the rest of the books that I completed were fiction. Here is my genre breakdown. Of course, we have mostly thriller and horror as usual. And although I didn't read much this month, what I read I mostly really liked. I had an average rating of 4.08 stars out of 5, which to me is very good. I only had 1 2-star book this month. I had 2 4-star books, a 4.5-star book, and 2 5-star books to talk about as well. And this is how I read those pages throughout the month. It was varied, okay? I had little spurts that I could read books, but most of the time I was just sitting sad and distressed. Sorry if this wrap up is like a total Debbie Downer. I feel really good now, so nobody needs to worry about me. I am totally fine. But yeah, if it was touch and go for a little while there in September. You know, if you were on Patreon, seeing the stuff that I was posting on Patreon during the month of September, because I didn't really feel up to posting a lot on my main channel, but I was a little bit more open on my smaller, more contained community on Patreon. I was just going through it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the reviews of all the books that I did complete in September. As always, I will start out with my least favorite book and work my way up to my favorite book of the month. The 1 2-star book that I read in September was No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. I read this ARC copy and I thought I was gonna really like this. First of all, I love the cover. All these black cats are so cute. And the description reminded me a lot of something like a Karen Slaughter book or like Cackle by Rachel Harrison. Basically, this woman has to return to her hometown when her father goes missing. And it's like a very small town situation. It feels like Halloween Town or like the town from Practical Magic, where it's a Halloween tourist destination. It's very spooky, it's very cutesy. And we're solving the mystery of what happened to her dad, also following her and her family's interpersonal dynamics, her own personal drama, and the drama of the town with the spooky vibes alongside it all. Unfortunately, in practice, I did not enjoy this book. It felt really disjointed. It just didn't have the fluency that I like in a mystery. The perspective switches were very jarring and I didn't care about most of them. It also jumped around from the past and present without much structure, and it had long drawn out dream sequences that I found hard to discern whether they were actually happening or not. And I don't think that was a literary device. I don't think it was supposed to be trippy feeling. It was a very straightforward mystery. I just don't think it was executed in a way that was very digestible. I did not guess like the killer or what ended up happening at the end, so I guess it was well done in that way, but I just didn't feel invested and I kept getting taken out of the story because of the structural issues. If you like a small town, cozy, Halloween-y mystery, I think you could still enjoy this, but for me, because of all of the technical issues, I did have to give it 2 stars. Getting into the books that I did enjoy in the month of September, let's get into my 4-star books. The first one is the nonfiction that I was able to complete in September, and that is Men Who Hate Women by Laura Bates. As you can see, I have tabbed this up, I have highlighted it down, Boots Nation. I really got a lot out of this book. This book tackles misogyny from the inside out. Like, we are going into every little community and analyzing how misogyny weasels its way into areas where we think are like secluded, like we think incels on Reddit are just like these basement dwellers, but really this book shows you how that misogyny is not just in hidden little corners of the internet, how it actually makes its way into our everyday life and can be very intrusive and very hurtful. It can show up in our partners, our brothers, our fathers, and it's really scary. This was a really hard, really heavy read, and sometimes it did get quite technical just with all the history and facts that it was giving me, which is why I gave it 4 stars rather than 5. Although the information that was given in here was 5 stars, sometimes it was just a little bit heavy-handed and overwhelming in its delivery. But each chapter goes into a different subset of how misogyny can manifest. So we have men who hate women, men who prey on women, men who avoid women, men who blame women, men who hound women, men who hurt women, men who exploit other men, men who are afraid of women, men who don't know they hate women, and men who hate men who hate women. And all of this is rooted in misogyny in various different ways. It was a really validating read based on past experiences in my life and very recent personal experiences in my life. If you don't know, I had a traumatic situation happen with my ex-partner, and I'm not going to share anything about the ins and outs of that because it was a safety issue and it is very sensitive for me, but I could not actually understand how someone that I loved so, so, so deeply could harbor hatred for me at the same time. And reading this book really helped me clarify some of that and helped me feel valid and like I wasn't crazy and like there was nothing wrong with me. So overall, this was a very, very helpful read for me. I just think some of the delivery was a little heavy-handed. It like took me a long time to get through this book because of how heavy it felt. So I would say this is a great read, but if you're gonna read it, go slow, take breaks, it's a lot. The other 4-star book that I read in September was another paperback from hell, and that was Rapture by Thomas Tessier. And this is kind of like the OG You by Caroline Kepnes. It's a Joe Goldberg-esque main character. This guy goes home for his father's funeral, and when he's in his hometown, he's like thinking like, oh, remember that one girl from high school? And he gets obsessed with her and he starts to wonder like, is there any hope of them reconnecting? But he doesn't just reach out to her, okay? He goes crazy psycho Joe Goldberg mode and starts stalking her. And in his little head, they're perfect soulmates, but in reality, he is doing some chilling things. So we follow this psycho man as he does that. There's really sophisticated commentary on misogyny in this book. I think it's really, really well done. It's also just like fun and kitschy in the way that American Psycho is satirical and ridiculous. It's very, very close to that. I love the ending of this book. It was thoroughly entertaining. There definitely were some uncomfortable moments where you're very, very aware that this was written in the 80s. But other than that, it was just pure enjoyment. And it was cool to see some of the like OG roots of the fatal attraction trope that has gone so wild in the horror genre, especially recently. So if you're a lover of vintage horror, I highly recommend it. Next up, let's get into the 4.5-star book that I read in September, which was actually my Pretty Girl book club pick for the month. And that is She Didn't See It Coming by Sherry Lapina. Oh my god, this domestic thriller was phenomenal. It was the perfect distraction that I needed, and I think it was crafted so, so well. There is a huge cast of characters in this book, and every single person is so well formed. I could keep them apart really easily somehow, and everyone was a suspect. Like truly, every single red herring had merit to it, and I was kept guessing about the killer until the very end. This is a domestic thriller slash murder mystery about a normal modern woman, this young mom who goes missing from her condo in the middle of the day in broad daylight. Nobody knows what happened to her, and everyone is a suspect. We know that she got into a little fender bender with this guy a couple weeks ago, and people suspect because of his sketchy past that maybe they were involved or he killed her for some reason. So he is a suspect. Obviously, the husband is a suspect because it's always the husband. The sister is also obsessed with true crime and she gets involved. There are some sketchy friendships, and there's also a guy in her building who was accused of rape just the year before. So there are a lot of people that could have hurt this woman. We are basically going door to door to all these different condos, peeking into people's lives to try to see who done it. And the result is shocking. The ride to get there is thoroughly entertaining. I freaking loved it. I think there were many opportunities in here for Sherry Lapina to expand on little pieces of commentary that she brought up. She didn't take the opportunity to do that, so that's why I knocked off a half a star. But other than that, my reading experience was 100% phenomenal. I had such a good time with it, and there are characters in here that are so compelling that I would read a sequel. Like, there's an unhinged woman character in here that I need a sequel based around her life, a prequel, something. I'm obsessed with her. And this is now the 4th book in a row that Sherry Lapina has put out that I've given either 4.5 or 5 stars. She is on a hot streak and I'm loving her. And finally, we have my 5-star books. These were the 2 shining stars of the month of September for me. The first one is called Open Wide, and it's by Jessica Gross. This is a kind of literary horror book. If If you like body horror, you're going to love this. And if you've ever daydreamed about crawling into your partner's skin, you are going to love this. It is a really dark but really funny and poignant story about a girl with severe attachment issues who has always dreamed about being super, super close with her partner, but her partner will not let her in. She starts dating this guy and we follow their relationship from the beginning to the insane place where it ends up. It is very character-driven horror, rife with commentary about our personal traumas and the way that we project onto our partners. There is some crazy body horror in here, and it basically answers the question, like, what if you could crawl inside your partner? I fucking loved it. I loved every second of it. I think it is so meaningful and so well done. It is so relatable. It is so quarter life crisis core. It is so fearful avoidant attachment core. It is so anti-hinge core. Like, it is everything to me. I will be singing this book's praises forever. I haven't heard that many people talk about it. If this even sounds mildly interesting to you, please pick it up. I promise you, it is so good. And the last book that I have to talk about, my favorite book that I read in the month of September, is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Hello? A YA dystopian, a fucking Hunger Games prequel. Who had this on their bingo card for 2025 that this was going to be one of my favorite books of the year? This is not only one of my favorite books of the year, this might be one of my favorite books of all time. It's definitely my favorite book of the Hunger Games series, which is so surprising to me because I fucking loved those books growing up. This one just takes the cake. If you don't know what this Hunger Games prequel is about, we are following Haymitch, young Haymitch, and if you don't remember who Haymitch is, he was Katniss and Peeta's guide, the only other person from District 12 to ever win the Hunger Games, and we are following his games experience. And I guess a lot of people were wondering about the purpose that this prequel serves, because we clearly already know what's going to happen at the end of these games. Haymitch's games has been talked about before. We know that it's a quarter quell, which means there are double the tributes that are going to the Hunger Games. We kind of already had a lot of information about what was going to go down in this book, but the actual execution of it, like seeing it happen, reading it, oh my god. I love this book. I love this book. This is one for the rebels who are also like soft-hearted and yearn, okay? If you are a yearner, if you're a real big time yearner, this is for you. This book will take your heart, rip it out, and stomp on it in the best way. It is the best character development type of prequel I have ever read. I am obsessed with it. I will be first in line when the movie comes out. I cannot wait. This book was everything to me. Like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I enjoyed. I thought it was fine, but this book actually had me sobbing on the couch for hours after I finished it. It was just that good. So if you haven't read this one and you were kind of on the fence about it based on how you felt about Songbirds and Snakes, just read it. Okay, I was the same way. I am so fucking glad that I got it, and I'm so fucking glad that I picked it up and that I own this book. I want to go back and reread it and annotate it. Like, I just love it. I love Haymitch's trajectory. I love the absolute heartbreak of this story. It is literally the only thing that explains why Haymitch is how he is in the original trilogy. And you see just the poison and corruption of the Capitol. There's such great commentary in here, personally and about society. Oh my god. And the romance and the yearning. You literally will never hear me shut up about this book. It was such a strong 5-star read. Like, this is not a 5-star read. This is a 6-star read. It is that good, and I feel like the hype does not capture it. It needs more hype. I'm obsessed. So with that very short little wrap up, I feel like I should still be filming for another 30 minutes because I usually am filming my wrap ups for another 30 minutes. But those are all the books that I read in September. Hopefully I get out of my slump. Actually, I have a reading vlog coming soon that helps me get out of my slump, so stay tuned for that. But hopefully I get to read more in October. I'm so excited for for my spooky reading and for my readathon that I'm hosting the week before Halloween. Subscribe for that. Like this video if you liked it and you're excited for October reading. And thank you guys so much for watching this video and hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it, especially when I'm going through a reading slump. Like, I feel like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not posting enough, or I'm not gonna have enough content or something. So the fact that you guys are sticking by while I go through this just means so much to me. I love you so much. Thank you again for watching, and don't forget to go to therapy and read a book this week. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.